firearm and an unregistered ammunition. This suspect's brazenness, and again, the fact that he approached these women who were unknown to him, lead us to believe that he may be connected to additional offenses, including offenses that could have occurred in the 3-year gap between the cases we just described. With that in mind, we're releasing his picture today to see if his image jogs anyone's memory. If anyone has any information about Yuana Ubam or any information about other cases, please call us at 202-727-9099 or text 50411. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Assistant Chief Ramey Kyle.
I want to again commend the detectives for their hard work in these cases. I would also like to acknowledge the survivors involved in these numerous cases. Their bravery in coming forward to report these crimes has been instrumental in our efforts to bring justice. Each piece of information provided by our courageous survivors was a crucial part of the puzzle that our detectives worked to solve. As Lieutenant Rizzi mentioned, we believe this suspect may be connected to other sexual abuse cases in the surrounding area. If you're a victim or have any information regarding a sexual offense in the District of Columbia, please call us at 202-727-9099 or text us at 50411. You can remain anonymous. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
With the charges that he's facing, if he's convicted, how long are we looking for jail time?
I think that's probably an answer for the United States Attorney's Office.
So I can't speak to exactly the amount of time he's facing. I mean, each of these offenses, the first-degree sexual abuse is a very serious offense. Just to clarify, what they read were the charges he's been arrested for, and just so folks are aware from a process perspective, you may see some or all of these as charges today. When someone is arrested where there are multiple victims, we sometimes charge a subset of those initially, or sometimes even only one. We are not required to charge all of those to proceed with the case. And in order to actually formally charge someone, as you know, they'll have to later be indicted. And so that initial charging document, the complaint, does not always contain all the charges that someone will be facing. So he will be charged later today and go through court, but that may not contain all the charges that he'll eventually be facing because he will have to be indicted by a grand jury.
Does he have a prior history, and what will you be asking for bond potentially so that he's not back out on the streets?
So, you know, in the District of Columbia, there's not a cash bond system, so it is about whether we have a basis to ask for detention, which based on the charges here, we will have a basis to ask for detention. And so that will be up to the court to determine whether he will be held in jail.
And his prior history, does that factor in?
Whether or not someone has a prior history does factor in to whether or not the court will detain them. I can't speak right now about a prior history, but it will come up in court.
Where was he living at this time for the past 3 years? Was he still in the local area?
He was a resident of the District of Columbia in Northwest.
And was he at any point, I know you worked on a long time for this, was he a suspect at some point?
So during our investigation, within I would say the last couple of weeks, we did develop him as a suspect, but we still had to piece together, you know, information. So each case had like a little bit of like a little puzzle piece that we used to kind of connect to the larger cases and bring all these to closure. So he was towards the last couple of weeks, yes.
Can I ask if he was a person of interest for the past 3 years?
No, he was not.
Was there anything, I understand all the pieces that you put together to make this happen today. What was missing during that time? Was there anything missing that you wish had been there that would have maybe helped him come to justice faster?
I think the biggest piece, we had DNA in some of the earlier cases, but his profile was not in the system to link it back to a definitive person. So as we knew some of these cases were linked by DNA, we didn't have a name to link those to. So if, you know, that would have helped us out a lot, tremendously. And again, you know, a lot of these cases, you know, it comes down to, is there a camera there? Is there, you know, do we get lucky with some piece of information? And with this, we had a lot of little small things, and our detectives did just amazing work of taking all of these and kind of weaving them together and developing our suspect and bringing this really good case to closure.
We're going to take 2 more.
Did he have like a specific thing, or something that was
Not in all of the cases, but in a lot of them, it seemed like he was operating along the 14th Street, 16th Street Northwest corridor. So a lot of the cases, if you look at the locations, they're kind of in that area. And again, not all of them, but a lot of the cases, the victims were either Hispanic or white females.
Now, you found him. What is it that you hope for the victims who've had to recover and kind of deal with this?
You know, that's a really good question. And I know this had to be awful, and I'm sure they're dealing with things right now. We just hope this brings a little bit of closure to them, to know that this person is now out of community. Hopefully he'll be held today, and hopefully he won't be able to harm anybody else in the future.
You said he was a D.C. resident. Do you know how long he lived in the city?
I don't know the exact number of years, no.
Could you speak on his growing use of using weapons? Because it seemed like in his earlier incidents, he didn't use a weapon and kind of grew to using a gun.
Yeah, that's correct. So often what we see in these cases, they start out small, and the suspect or the perpetrator, they accelerate in the crimes. They become worse and worse and worse as they continue. So as you see in some of the very beginning cases, and even some other cases that we think he may be connected with, they're very minor almost. But then you see this acceleration over time to where we're seeing very, very serious sexual assaults with a firearm.
Was he working? Was he just like, what did he do for a living?
He was employed, but I don't know if we can release that information to you.
Okay.
No.
And can I just also ask for DNA clarification? You said that you had little pieces. That means that like none of his prior histories, put him in the system, right? That's why you could not link him. Is that right?
That's correct.
Sir, one more. I have
Last
one-
question.
So since he's in this kind of area, did law enforcement go out like a warning? Did they put was there anything known to the people or the women? Like, was it out there that there's this guy that's out here doing this?
We did put some press releases out. We did internal be on the lookouts to our officers. We had people out there canvassing, looking for him. We had his description out there, especially towards the last couple weeks when we really kind of nailed this down, who we're looking for and what exactly they looked like.